All right, hey guys, Screwman here, and I had a budget build that I built out of spare parts that sold, and I actually made a pretty good profit on it. So I'm going to see how low I can go, and we're going to build something even lower. Long story short, I got sent this 970 for free. I played around with it for a bit, and I was like, let's put it in a build. This power supply cost 10 bucks, and this I bought off my buddy Ed. He has Ed's PC shop on Java. I'll link you to it down below. And he bought a case, a PC for like 40 bucks, right? And he sold, it had this epic case in it, and he sold it for like 200 bucks or something crazy. And then he basically had this thing, and I was asking him if he knew where I could find a cheap 3rd or 4th gen Intel, and he's like, 50 bucks for this whole thing. And I was like, man, I knew what he made already, and I was like, 40 bucks. And he's like, fine. So I bought this entire DDR3 system off him for 40 bucks. So we are at 50 bucks total. And then we've got this case, which I got for 40 bucks with a power supply. And then I took the power supply out because it's too powerful for this. So we'll call this a $20 Fantex case. Toss in a pair of solid state 120s that I got for free. So you can put Windows and like 2 games on it. And you've got a budget PC. I think, you know, since I'm basically in on this thing for 50... 70, essentially basically 70 bucks for this whole build. I'm going to try to sell this build for like 175, I think. Honestly, it's probably worth it. This thing is like 50, 60 bucks alone. And I think that's a very reasonable ask. And we're going to see what this thing can do. You know, it's going to probably take me like 10 minutes to build it. So I don't think I'm going to do a build montage on this one. I think I'm really just going to snap my fingers and it's going to be done. Because I'm more curious to see how well this thing actually can game. So let's snap our fingers and be done. Here's what it looks like finished. I ironically did not take a video of it with the fans on just so you could see it. It has no RGB, 100% stealth build. Took me about 10 minutes to build. Easy build, pleasure to build. I'm going to market this as a Fortnite gaming PC, and I'm going to list it for $200. So let me show you how it games on Fortnite real quick. I'm going to use a camera over my shoulder playing it when I do it because I don't want to put a OBS on it because I feel like it'll slow down its performance even more. So let's see how well it does on Fortnite. Alright, so finally sold. I had it listed for maybe 3 weeks. I had a bunch of people message me. It got a ton of views. I had some people asking if I was willing to lower the price, and I wasn't. $200 I felt was more than reasonable for this PC. And as you just saw, it can play Fortnite. Now, I haven't tried any other games, and I didn't promise I could play any other games. I called this a budget Fortnite build. So how did I do on this profit-wise? Well, so we are at $70 for this build. I sold it for $200. After Java takes its cut, I get about $173. So I made a $100 profit on this thing. Now, obviously, if I had to pay for the GPU, which probably would have been like $30, I would have made less. But I got it for free, so that's how I calculated. So $100 for this thing, and I got some good content on it. And it just shows you that budget builds are not dead. The person buying this, actually, it's his first PC, and he asked me if it was upgradable, and I was like, look, honestly, it's not. It's kind of one of those things you buy, you see if you like it, and then you use it for like, like an intro gaming PC or a streaming box or whatever later down the line. But I will say that the build quality of this thing is actually pretty good considering how cheap it cost. Like it's a good build. Obviously, there's no RGB, so it's 100% stealth build. But you beggars can't be choosers is the old word. But it definitely looks better than the other PC. That this is obviously less powerful than the 1050 Ti model, but it definitely looks better than that one, as that one was more cobbled together from spare parts. For this one, I was able to actually make a coherent system. So anyway, that's it for this one. Thank you for watching, and it just goes to show you, by the way, that you can build an older PC and it can still game. Just because you see a bunch of people with 5090s, 5080s, newer systems doesn't mean you can't be rocking something like a 970, as there are a ton of games available on Steam that this is more than capable of running. And like, you can play Fortnite on this, you can play Overwatch, there's a ton of esports titles you can play on this. Alright guys, that's it for this one. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more PC Flip content. Peace out.